Icon, full stop. Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, adored by millions around the world. But what was he really like behind closed doors, I hear you ask? Sonia?
Well, our next guest was part of his closest inner circle. Jerry Schilling was a lifelong friend who was by Elvis's side every step of the way, and we're pleased to say that Jerry joins us now live from Los Angeles. Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning, Sonia. Thank you.
Jerry,
morning, Ben.
Morning.
You were Elvis's close friend for over 20 years and you met him before he was famous. So how did your paths cross?
Well, we lived in North Memphis, a poor section of Memphis, and some older guys were trying to get up a football game one day, and Elvis was so unpopular, he couldn't get 6 people his own age to play. So the grade school kid, me, got to play. And that started a 23-year friendship of me and Elvis and a 10-year professional relationship.
Yeah, Elvis asked you to join his inner circle. It was called the Memphis Mafia. What did it involve to be in the Memphis Mafia?
First of all, it was trust. Elvis had to trust the people that worked for him because you lived with him, you went to work with him to the studios, you dated with him. It was first based on trust, and then you worked to the positions that, you know, I started out as a bodyguard, a stand-in, film editor, public relations, and producer. So it all was based on trust. We were a band of brothers.
Jerry, you were also very close with Priscilla, and you were there the day that she moved out of Graceland. That must have been a heartbreaking moment. Can you tell us what happened?
Well, I think it's lifestyle. My wife, my former wife, and I were living with Elvis and Priscilla, and we had gotten divorced not too much before that. But there was still a love, and today is Father's Day here in America. And I remember driving Priscilla and Elvis to the hospital when Lisa was born. So it's kind of a celebration day, Father's Day. And Priscilla and Elvis stayed close, and Priscilla's done such a great job with the memory of Elvis through Elvis Presley Enterprises.
The story goes that Elvis's most emotional songs came after that breakup. Is it true that he used to listen to his songs separate ways for hours on end to try and overcome the grief?
Well, ironically, a block from where I am sitting right now, at the RCA studios, when he went through the divorce, he actually did not want to record anything but songs. He didn't say it to anybody, but he was doing separate ways and songs like that. And we were trying to get him to do Burning Love. He wasn't in the mood for that, but we finally talked him into it. And he liked it after it became a hit.
Jerry, you know, even through his struggles, Elvis always had time for his mates. We hear one wild night you all ended up at the White House. You better fill us in on that.
Well, that was just me and Elvis. Again, another time I wasn't working for him. I was the only person in the world that knew where he was. It was called The Lost Weekend. I was actually working at Paramount Studios as a film editor, and he insisted I go to Washington with him. I didn't know why. We wound up in the Oval Room of the White House, and there's a movie just being completed as we talk called Elvis Meets Nixon.
Look, another big chapter in Elvis's history is meeting up with the Beatles. When Elvis and the Beatles got together, it's 50 years, I think, since that encounter, and you were there for that historical meeting. No cameras allowed. What happened?
Well, I think it was a great night. You know, the Beatles really admired Elvis. I was a big Beatle fan. And, you know, you hear all these rumors, but I think that's what's good about the show, the live show that's going to be done in Australia. Jason Russo, the producers, really researched this. My good friend Joe Esposito, who was there that night as well, is going to narrate. And we're going to come as close to trying to get the feeling of that night with the shows in Australia starting, I think, August 20th.
Fantastic.
And yeah, it was a great night. contrary to anything anybody says, the Beatles and Elvis really got along great.
Well, Jerry, it's been great to be able to chat to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
And if you'd like some more information on the Elvis Meets the Beatles concert, head to the website on your screen. It's got all of the details.
Still ahead, 70s sitcom superstar